Rich people do not care about you. No, I'm not talking about your cousin who drives a Mercedes, has his own insurance business, and always picks up the tab when you go out for beers. I'm talking about super rich people like the Walton family, the Koch brothers and, yes, the Trumps. I'm talking about people who continue to make money off the backs of the poor while convincing those same people to remain loyal no matter what. But the truth is they're never going to share or trickle down their money to you regardless of how white you are, how loyal you are, or how much you support their companies or their politicians. When a family like the Waltons, worth over $50 billion, are fine knowing their employees are collecting food stamps to survive and they do nothing about it, that speaks volumes. It says loud and clear, I don't care about you. When Donald Trump was willing to close down and bankrupt multiple small businesses because he couldn't be bothered to pay his bills, all while living in a gilded penthouse and flying around New York City in a helicopter, that screamed, I don't care about you. Creating jobs isn't a thing to be praised. Creating well-paying jobs is. Billion-dollar corporations like Walmart and McDonald's don't create healthy economies. They create mass poverty. Anyone can create a job. I'll pay you $1 an hour to clean my house, do lawn care and general maintenance, Monday through Friday for 8 hours a day. There, I created a job. Have I contributed anything to society? No. Have I boosted the economy? No. All I've done is put one person in poverty. Job creation is nothing more than a catchphrase that politicians use to get votes. It doesn't mean anything. Let's say there is a small town with 500 people and a factory opens and pays minimum wage. If the company hires everyone in the area, the result will not be a thriving community. It will be a community of 500 poor people. Yes, the factory technically created jobs, but it also spread poverty. Never forget they need us more than we need them. Without us working their low-paying jobs, they have nothing. Make them pay fairly for your labor. Make them create well-paying jobs. Black and brown people are not the reason you're poor, rich white people are the reason you're poor. Corporations siphon money from profits to share with stockholders, upper management, and CEOs, leaving everyone else, regardless of color, scrambling at the bottom for crappy pay. The owner of the factory is the reason you are poor, not the person of color working beside you for the same wage. Don't be angry at the immigrant trying to make a better life. Be pissed off at the company who exploits both of you so they can pay lower wages and maximize profits. There is no such thing as a welfare queen. There never was. Politicians made this up. It is propaganda designed to make you think people of color are lazy and want a free ride at your expense. If you resent them, you are more likely to vote to eliminate programs that benefit them but could also benefit your own family. Generations and generations of white people have been programmed to be racist even if it's to their own detriment. By helping to keep people of color down, you keep yourself down. And that's how politicians want it. The war on drugs and the war on crime are fake. These programs target minority communities and keep the private prison system making billions. As collateral damage, poor whites sometimes get sucked into the system, but not enough that anyone cares. Poor people are funneled through the prison system with plea deals. Incarcerated people work for pennies a day in a modern-day slave trade, making products for billion-dollar corporations. The rehabilitation system has almost no programs for actual rehabilitation because the system wants ex-convicts to fail. It's how they keep the money pouring in. The propaganda of these fake wars tries to convince white people that black and brown people commit more crimes, that white people should fear them, and that prison is where they belong. If you allow yourself to be brainwashed by racism, the system will continue to prey on poor people of all colors. Rich people hire lawyers to get out of prison time. Poor people are scared and pressured into plea deals. And no one cares until it happens to them. Stop listening to people who say you need to bootstrap your way up, especially if they have never had to bootstrap their way anywhere. This is a myth wealthy people have been telling poor people for centuries. It's a way to keep poor and working class people grinding away at jobs that create more wealth for them, not you. It's a way to pit working class people and poor people against each other. Instead of showing each other compassion and joining together, we look down on anyone we see as not working hard enough, even when that mentality keeps us down too. Working hard is admirable, being made to feel lazy or less than because you lack equal opportunity is manipulation. Rich people don't have some magical way of thinking that makes them rich. They aren't better, smarter, or more creative than poor people. They have more money, and more money offers greater opportunities. That's it. I'm not suggesting people shouldn't try to better their lives. Never give up. What I'm saying is stop beating yourself up because you face a longer, tougher road to succeed than someone who was born into wealth and privilege. And try to have compassion for those who are struggling to make ends meet. Beating people down who are already exhausted isn't just unfair, it's cruel. Wealthy white people love to see poor people fighting among ourselves. If we dislike each other over things like race, sexual orientation, and religion, then we aren't paying attention to what the billionaires and politicians are doing. They want you to get riled up over wedding cakes, who uses what bathroom, and what to say at Christmas time. By pumping out media stories that make you think you're losing something, or that your lifestyle is in danger, they can keep you focused on stuff that really makes no difference in your life. I'll put it like this: if I offered you $5 more per hour at your job on the condition you do not insert yourself in matters that don't concern you, like gay couples getting married, would you accept it? Here's another way to look at it: would you rather have a $100 Christmas bonus, or a $1,000 holiday bonus? When we take a step back, get honest, and ask ourselves if we genuinely care how other people live, the answer is usually no. We get fired up over the onslaught of shocking headlines, and that's exactly what people in power want. Rich people have convinced working-class people that unions are bad. Workers are stuck in low-paying jobs without the power to walk out and negotiate for better wages and benefits. News outlets, owned by rich people, frame stories of union walkouts as if workers are lazy or greedy. They often show workers of color on picket lines to reinforce the notion that black and brown people want something for nothing. That is one way to minimize wages for workers and maximize payouts to stockholders and CEOs. If a CEO makes $120 million a year, in 1 year he or she has enough so they never have to work again for the rest of their life. They never have to work another day, and neither do their grandkids or great-grandkids. The entire family is set. Do you think they care if the company goes belly up? Why would they when they've got theirs? If you lose your job, are you set? Corporations spend a great deal of time peddling fear in workers that the most important thing is the health of the company above all else. That's just a tricky way to convince workers to take less, so those at the top can take more. What's the best way to achieve that? Split up unions and take away workers' power. There is power in numbers, and they know it, and do everything they can to keep us from seeing it. Remember, without your labor, they have nothing. When the show Friends became a runaway hit, it came time for the actors to renegotiate their contracts. David Schwimmer, who played Ross, went to the rest of the cast and suggested that, instead of negotiating individually, which could lead to resentment if some were paid more than others, they should negotiate as a single group. The result was the entire cast was paid the same for the run of the show. It was equal and fair, and no one left the show because of hurt feelings or resentment. That's a union. There is a myth that raising the minimum wage would allow unskilled workers to make as much as skilled workers, and that wouldn't be fair. Again, this is more spinning of tales so that wealthy CEOs can keep worker pay at an all-time low while they make billions. The truth is, if minimum wage went up, skilled wages would go up too. How? Let's say you are an EMT working for $15 an hour and the minimum wage goes up. Now everyone working in retail and fast food is making the same as you. Pretty insulting, right? Wrong. That's what corporations want you to think, so you will fight to keep other poor people down. If the minimum wage rose to $15, you could get a job anywhere for the same pay. That would give you leverage to negotiate a higher wage by saying, essentially, there is now an abundance of jobs paying what I make. I can leave and take one of those jobs unless you pay me more for my added skills. Your skills are now worth more. Instead of $15, you may get $20, but you'll never get the $20 if you keep fighting to keep others down. Lifting others lifts you up too. Continuing to support politicians who give tax breaks to the rich is never going to make your life better. When a company gains billions in tax breaks, the people at the top get multi-million-dollar bonuses. Workers at the bottom may, if they are incredibly lucky, get $1,000 after 20 years of service. That's $50 a year. A one-time bonus of $1,000 will do nothing to change a working person's life. At best, it will alleviate a bit of stress for 1 month. 1 month for 20 years. Meanwhile, CEOs and other top executives are wondering if they should buy a yacht or another vacation home. While poor people are cheering over being thrown slop, the rich are pigging out at the buffet table. If poor and working class people stop fighting each other and band together, we have the numbers to make real change. Rich people know this, and it terrifies them. If we suddenly start demanding better wages, they may have to give up a bit of profit. If we start demanding health care and quality education, they may have to pay a bit more in taxes. If we start treating each other with respect and equality, they can no longer use fear, homophobia, racism, and propaganda to distract us. We have the power. Now we need to stop giving it away.